started when I was very young. I was always very active in sports ever since I was in primary school. But when you're very active in sports, what happens is that you have a lot of injuries. And I remember very well this injury. It was very memorable because I fell on my tailbone. And when I fell on my tailbone, I was momentarily paralyzed. Imagine at that age, teenager, right? But I actually got up and then I just walked as if nothing happened. Just like a kid, right? When they fall down, they get up as if nothing happened. Because when you're young, you think you're invincible. You think, I can beat the pain, and you ignore it. Major mistake, because when I had my children, I have two lovely girls, the pain persisted. I was reminded of the pain. It was really bad. It was so bad that when I walked, I actually walked like this. I'm talking about being in the 30s. Right? It was that bad. So what do I do? What do most of us do? We see doctors, acupuncturists, right? Sports therapists, chiropractor. I tried a lot of things. Do they work? The answer is yes, but it is all temporary. So I continue with my sports until 2016, when I actually couldn't run anymore. I enjoyed running because it is one of those things you can do on your own. You don't have to find a teammate. So I couldn't run. So then I had to condition myself to think that I have to live with this pain for the rest of my life. And that was how it was. Now, fast forward, last year, I met a very good friend of mine. She's a very good friend of mine today. I trust her completely. She said, Sim, why don't you try this? It's life work. I didn't ask any questions because I trusted her. No need to ask anything. Because I believe she cared for me enough to introduce this to me. What else do I need to ask? So I tried it. She said, try it. Okay? And use it every day, like she said. Use it every day. Put it behind your neck. Drink plenty of water. I did. I'm very good at following orders, okay? So I did that. So one day, next day, after 1 week, I felt absolutely nothing. No healing crisis, no difference at all. But then I already bought the product, so I said I might as well continue using the product because I trust her. But in the meantime, what happened was a friend of mine called me. And when I answered the call, I knew something was wrong because his speech was slurred. And I said, Ganesh, what's wrong? He said, Sim, I actually went into the hospital and they did daily dialysis on me. And then a week after, septicemia set in and he went into a coma. 3 weeks later, he woke up and he was blind. 80% of his eyesight, he could only see shadows. Can you believe it's almost as if we go to sleep, we wake up and we are blind. Right? He's the sole breadwinner of his company. He's the sole breadwinner and he's also a sole proprietor of his own corporate training company. So then I was wondering, how can I help him? See, I have LifeWay. Now remember, it hasn't worked on me, right? But here I am so gung-ho. Try this. Because I trusted the friend who introduced it to me. And I said, why don't you try this? Because that's the only option I have. So he said, very normal when we share with anybody, he said, Sim, let me talk to my doctors. I said, okay, you talk to your doctors. 2 weeks later, he came back to me and he said, Sim, I'd like to try this. Obviously, no good news from the doctors, correct? So he tried X39 and X49. A month later, I was in the mountains hiking, I remember. I can't run, but I could still hike. And I said, I have to call him. So when I came down from the mountains, I called him. It's free, right? WhatsApp calls these days. You can call from anywhere. So I said, how are you doing? He said, Sim, I can see car number plates. I said, no, can't be, right? So good. I felt nothing. But you say you have recovered your eyesight. Then he said, yes. I can even see what's on my phone. I can actually call Grab. So I have the car number. I go out, I check the car number, I get into the correct car. Isn't that amazing? When he told me that, I actually broke down. I was in tears because I was so happy and so relieved for him. Now, in the meantime, let's come back to myself. A year later, so I've been using LifeWave products for slightly over a year. Now, I won't say my pain is completely gone, but I still have maybe about 30% of the pain I used to have, which is why I used to walk like this because it was so painful. But now I can stand up straight. There's still some pain. Thank you. There's still some pain. And now I can jog for 30 to 60 minutes. I still have pain, but I have faith the product works. Now the other lesson I learned from this is that my body, your body, and my friend's body, I'm going to show you his picture. This is my friend. He was completely paralyzed, and that is 2 months later. Okay? So our body, each of us is different. Of course, I'm jealous when my friend tells me, I feel so much better in 2 days. And here I am, 1 year later, I still have some pain. But it's okay. All of us recover at a different rate because in our body, we don't know what has degenerated. So let your body take its time to recover. So, as I mentioned, I have tried lots of things. I'm sure some of you have tried acupuncture, chiropractor, you have seen doctors, I'm sure. But in my case, a lot of these things didn't work. Finally, what really worked, or what we say the missing puzzle, was LifeWave. That's the only product that has given me hope. That's the only product that I believe as I grow older, I will live younger. That's the only product I know as I grow older, I can still do a lot of the things that I want to do. We have been told that nutrition is important. Is that correct? We need nutrition? Yes. Right? So, we have been told, and we are spoiled for choices these days. How many supplements are there in the pharmacies? Right? A lot of organic foods as well, right? A lot of different kinds of diets. We are spoiled for choice. So there's no excuse when you say you can't find nutritious food. Secondly, exercise. When you see the doctor, doesn't the doctor tell you exercise and nutrition are important? They are, right? So logically, if you exercise and you eat nutritious food, you should be very healthy. Is that correct? But yet you hear of a lot of people who get sick, even though they exercise and they eat nutritious food. Correct? So why is that the case? Now, one of the things I learned after I joined LifeWave is there is a third pillar of health, which is called organ health or organ functions. Now, you can eat as much nutritious food as you want, but if your digestive system is not healthy, if your stomach is not healthy, there is no way you can digest the food. Secondly, right, if you can digest the food, but your body is unable to absorb the nutrients, also no point. Thirdly, if your body is unable to get rid of the toxins from your body, there's also not much point. So organ function is just so important for us these days. Now, when we are very young, right, we can eat all kinds of rubbish. Right? We may not need to exercise, but we still feel very healthy, right? We still have a lot of muscles when we're young. And then when you grow older, like my daughter always tells me, she's 36 this year, she tells me, Mom, I'm eating the same things, but why is it now I'm getting so fat? Right? Why is it I'm getting all this fat around my waist? I say, well, daughter, there is this thing called degeneration. As we age, our cells, our tissues, our organs, they degenerate. And when they degenerate, we will end up with chronic conditions. The only solution I know, the only natural solution I know that can help us to regenerate our cells, tissues, and organs is LifeWave. So what does LifeWave X39 do? It elevates down. Most of you are using X39? Yes. Right? Now, what does it do? It doesn't contain any stem cell in the patch. So it is not a stem cell patch. It is a patch that elevates your GHK copper. And what does GHK copper do? It activates your stem cells. So the stem cells are activated indirectly. Now there are lots of benefits to GHK copper. Some of them is tissue repair. It repairs your bones, it repairs your lungs, it repairs your stomach lining. It also promotes anti-cancer activities. Imagine, by having GHK copper in your body, you can keep cancer away potentially. It also repairs your DNA. So there are lots of benefits to having GHK copper elevated in your body. It is not just to raise your stem cells. So why is it a lot of us, probably, before we knew about LifeWave, why is it most of us have not heard of GHK copper? It's because gram for gram, GHK copper is more expensive than gold. So here you have two choices. You can actually put into your body in whatever form artificially manufactured GHK copper, or you can choose the natural way by using the LifeWave patch. So I would naturally select for the natural way because there's absolutely no chance of a side effect. Sometimes people say something is good and you take it, but you don't know 10 years down the road, there's another research to tell you these are the side effects of what you took 10 years ago. I don't want to have that kind of risk. We know that when we have a lot of stem cells, it is absolutely beneficial for our body repair. Now, there are multiple sources of stem cells. I'm just going to touch on 3 of them. One is you can have a donor donate stem cells to you. But there are risks to that. When somebody donates stem cells to you, it's almost like an organ transplant. When you have an organ transplant, what happens? There's a risk of rejection. So you can have the same risk here if you receive donor stem cells or even stem cells from animal placenta. So again, LifeWave X39 is the natural way to elevate your GHK copper, which indirectly activates your stem cells. So we say LifeWave is very natural. What do we mean by that? First of all, we are all alive, correct? Anybody take here? All alive. That means when you're alive, you have body heat, correct? When you have body, as long as you have body heat, you put a patch on your body or close to your body, you can activate the patch. It will elevate your GHK copper. It is absolutely natural. There is no drug. It's non-transdermal. What do you mean by non-transdermal? All of us know about koyo. When you put koyo, there's medication there. It's absorbed through your skin. That's transdermal. It's non-intrusive. You're not injecting anything into your body. It is natural because you can use it across all living things, no matter the age also. I use it on my grandchildren. I use it on my mother who's 87 years old. And some people use it on pets, and some people use it on plants. We'll look at some examples of this. You can see all these people who are using X39. See the transformations in them. Now, when the appearance is different, it means internally your organs have already repaired. So it's not like going to a beautician, you just look good on the outside, but it's actually from the inside. On animals as well, I don't have to change. For this patch, I can take it off and then put it on pads. So it's second-hand patches that you're using on the pets or any animal. It works on the fish, it works on the cat, it works on the dog, right? So it works on pretty much any living thing, including plants. Now that's a lady's finger, but now I think it's more like a lady's hand. It's huge, right? And the maid actually says, the bananas used to be small, but now it's very big. X39 is fantastic. This is what the maid is saying. So whatever you have used, you put it in the soil, or you stick it to the stem, it will work as well on the plants. So it is not like medication. If I were to take medication, cold medication, I can't give my plants a cold medication and expect the plant to give me better flowers or better fruit, right? But these patches, Lifeway, you use it seamlessly across all living things. And now, we know, even if we are a user,